Hi everyone, welcome back to Rocky Diaries. Sandia Peak to Southmost Point. సో ఈ ట్రిప్లో మనము అక్కడి నుంచి మన ఆల్బకర్కి అవంతా కవర్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చాం కదా. కానీ నేను షికాగోలో ఒక పని పడి ఆర్లాండ్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు నేను ఫ్లై చేయాల్సి వచ్చింది అనమాట. సో మనం షికాగో వచ్చి ఇప్పుడు షికాగో డౌన్ టౌన్ ఆర్కిటెక్చరల్ టూర్ అలాంటివి కవర్ చేయబోతున్నాం అనమాట. ఈ పర్టికులర్ వీడియోలో మేము ఆ ఫీల్ కోసం అని చెప్పేసి ఆ ఆర్కిటెక్చరల్ టూర్ గైడ్ టోన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని అట్లాగే ఉంచేయడం జరిగింది. మోస్ట్లీ ఇది వాయిస్ ఓవర్ అనేది చెప్పలేదన్నమాట. యాజ్ ఈజ్ వీడియోగానే మీకు ప్రజెంట్ చేయబోతున్నాను. హోప్ యూ విల్ ఎంజాయ్ ఇట్.
Have any bags or purses? I don't care. I'm where do you want to sit?
Stairs to lower deck are underneath the canopy and the back up. Building. The section on the river is 1921, northern half 1924. Spanish Revival in its design, some French Renaissance elements. It's clad with 6 different shades of white glazed terracotta, fireproof baked clay. This is the building that Chewing Gum built, designed by Graham Anderson, Probst and White Building Home. Double-decker Michigan Avenue Bridge of 1920. The tall reflective glass building right here in front with the spire on top, Chicago's second tallest building. The height does include the very top and tip of the spire. The building fits into the site and surrounding. The building itself ascends in height. We have setbacks at different daytime hours. The glass is bright and reflective. When dark, it is clear and transparent. In 1926, the house of large jewelry firms. Those timpionos on the corners, designed to hide the water tanks that control the original sprinkler system. State Street to our right coming up, commonly referred to in the twin corncob towers. In reality, we're going to have Marina City. Built between 1960 and 64, designed by architect Bertrand Goldberg. Went to Germany to study under Mies van der Rohe at a school called the Bauhaus. So around here, going to have teacher and student side by side. The bottom 18 floors of both buildings are party, an introvert's paradise. A movie came out back in 1980 called The Hunter, starring Steve McQueen. There was a car chase with the parking lot of this west building. There's a car shot to the river. It's a stunt for that movie. That stunt was reenacted like 12. Do is use your eyes. Even if you tune me out, use your eyes. See what you like, see what you don't like. See how things flow, see how they bay windows. Western Chicago, River North, 87. The background, the flat reflective glass and horizontal banding from 2009. And to our right, vertical aluminum mullions, 321 North Clark Street, 1988, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. About 5.5 in the Prairie School design. The Reed Murdoch Warehouse Building, 1914. Architect across the river in 1928 and widened the roadway. They demolished the westernmost bay and reclad what was left to look like it originally did. Rising up 785, so massive like 14, 15 years ago, the building had its own zip code, 60654, now being shared throughout the area. Until 1911, a very nice train station stood on that site. Then had these 8 bronze busts. They represent some of the Prince merchants of the United States, including Philemon, Woolworth, the background, brand new there, brand new, brand new. 6 new buildings around here over the past 10 years. The most recent addition, the one to our right coming up, the roughly 60-story Salesforce Tower, finished last summer, rising to a height roughly 850 feet. Nice view up 850. And as we transition to the North Branch, the older brick building in front coming up is called Fulton House. The arches is 1898, Northern 3rd, 1908. Renovated by architect Harry Weiss. To our left in this gap, a brand new subway train stations, same architect, Harry Weiss. Again, take notice of the bridge tender houses, all very different and unique. This is an older generation. But as we clear Kinsey, about 1980, very high-end health club still kind of turns us back on the river. No windows along the base. Their feet gonna have all 4 levels. The background slightly smaller. Back there, on average, like 3,000 square feet. Last time I saw prices back there, about 850, roughly. Start. Instead, they design elevators in that space to lift the cars onto the floors where they're parked. Again, all valet. Concave Plaza, a 50-story tall building called River Point. Porthole openings are just fans to ventilate the diesel exhaust from inside the tunnel. On top is an 1.5 acre landscape public plaza. Steakhouse to our right called Gibson's Italia, very tasty. The dark glass building right here in front, lantern on top. This is a very historic site. Back in 1860, a temporary building stood on that site called the Wigwam. Held the very first ever Republican National Convention where Abraham Lincoln was nominated. Now, coming up here to our right, the building draws everyone's building itself, a pretty good example of form follows function. The site has to dictate, push down, same general concept of the diagonals. Building itself finished in 2017. We'll tell you more on the return trip. Have time while you're here, walk through this space. It's an 1.5 acre landscape public plaza, 5-story tall building, 110 North Wacker by Getch Partners. Same firm with the default with a very cool base. Building into our left, also of America Tower. And here's a picture of the building that stood on the site that I took before it got torn down. I don't miss it. Limestone cladding, that's Latin. Chiseled here in my lifetime. Blank wall to our left, bit more than 20 years ago. Some minor consideration about perhaps showing movies on the wall, watching the plaza across the way. Nothing materialized. When built, they used river water to raise and lower the stage inside. Gonna have some carvings here and more carvings. Some of you all, especially the adults of a certain age, have seen some of these buildings on TV before, but you may not realize it. If any of you all have ever seen The Untouchables, 1987, Sean Connery, Kevin Costner, there's a scene at the end of the baby stroller falling on the stair steps and had of a big old trading floor. There those big trading floors that did not like a lot of interior support columns that would get in the way. Instead of using interior supports, the exit around the outside was green glass of the building, green water of the river. I know. At least a third of you are roughly 2.7 million square feet of space, about 62 acres all under one roof, the perfect spot on top of train tracks. Building itself decommissioned back in '96 and sat empty for more than 2 decades. It was purchased back in 2016. It's undergone a roughly $800 million walk. Now, I will be honest, I'm not that big of a fan of the REIT architecturally because of the parking base. Now, initial plans call for two-story duplexes, like we see there to our left. You'll see the abutments on either side. And here to our left, we're going to have River City. 3.5 blocks to our right in the background behind Burlington. You can see a red and white transmission tower momentarily. That's a part of the Chicago Fire Academy, and I use it as our landmark. It's very, very semi-industrial to our right, but if you ever have time while you're here, I have no idea when it starts construction. So it should be to keep going in this direction for a while longer. The Native Americans who live on all this land at the portage pick up, carry, drag their canoes about 5 miles over some muddy land called Mud Lake during heavy rain, but not for the most recent addition around here is the glassy building to our right, coming up, slight twist, 1,000 or more papers. And she was a part of the immigrant population. She was Irish Catholic, used as a scapegoat. Liberty Place 1 and 2, downtown Philly. Key Bank Building, downtown Cleveland. It is pyramid peak-like rooftop to the building, 1930. Art Deco by Hollibert and Root. 30-foot statue on top. Roman got a 235 West Van Buren, Perkins and Will. And about a half mile to our right in the background, the next cottages. Congress Parkway, head east, gonna dead end, attack Bruce Graham, Engineer Fosler Khan, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. 110-story tall building rising to a height of 1,450. Way better. And until recently, in front to our left, Bowen Engineering. We have that steel truss on top. That steel truss was to support and suspend the southwest corner. On the building here to our right, next gap, kind of blue and purple, tinted glass back here to our right, 155 North Wacker, 2009. And again, same firm, gave us 150 here to our left, with a height to width ratio of her glory, a full frontal view merchandise mark. 1 block wide, half block deep, of the same architecture firm over 20 years. Cone, Pedersen and Fox of New York. Same firm, tall pink building, barrels on top in front of Sears. Dead center, green glass and curve is 3. Lower level was for trucks, so you can load and unload all your goods to buildings along the roadway. So the ugly stuff is out of sight. And those from the 70s, Cooley High, and open for good times. And for my time, Bob Newhart. In my time, Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Hill Street Blues, early edition. And I've watched Shameless with that too. But as we clear Wells, to our right coming up, and have one building built in 2 phases. 27. Respect. Something similar, next gap. First slash in the building for the first setback. Second slash for the roof line. Third slash for the building to its left in small side profile. As we clear Clark, here to our right coming up, gonna have pediments with the doorways. Pediments on top, kind of reminds me of a Greek temple or a government building. Fine. I have never gone, but the Wit Hotel there to our right, Estate Lake by Jackie Koo, it's a rooftop bar. And everyone kind of falls in love with that green terracotta and fine. Nice street wall to our right coming up of buildings side by side. Very slender neo-Gothic building, initially called Mather Tower, named for Alonzo Mather, a railroad baron. Let's have time while you're here, visit the rooftop bar, again, great views. With the buildings to our right now rise, 850 Tribune Tower, 1925. Back in 1922, the paper sponsored an international architectural competition. Grand prize, $100,000 to any architect. The parking lot to our left behind the fence, as of now, no plans. This is whatever does happen, it's awesome. And the sculpture to our left on the completion of that canal, that reversed the flow of it. On purpose. The reason they did that in those years here, 2 years later, same architect, different developer, got an upgrade of the Chicago Spire, designed by Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava. Project. Different developers now own that land. They will not resurrect this design. They have their own. This is the downtown skyline. Chicago's third tallest building and tallest building is Jeannie Gang. She's headquartered here in Chicago. Still think tallest in the world with its name change twice. Initially, the Standard Oil building, Big Stan, then the Amical building is now Aeon. So to the free star cycle that we have every year and have had every year in this area.
Sol y arena, oh so bright, baila conmigo toda la night. El ritmo suena, can you feel? Move your body, it's so real. Vuélvete loco.